Shaoshan initially wanted to live a leisurely life. But he was falsely accused by the Prime Minister of having a dissolute private life. The Prime Minister also intended to use a book that only 10 rank cultivators could read to kill Shaoshan. However, the Prime Minister was unaware that, given Shaoshan's immense power, this book couldn't possibly harm him. Just a moment ago, the Prime Minister suggested that since neither he nor Zhang Yangming could produce evidence, only the prince could prove his extensive knowledge. The Prime Minister then presented the ancient book he had prepared in advance. Upon seeing this book, everyone's expressions changed. The Queen showed anger towards the Prime Minister. Zhang Yangming also stated that the Prime Minister had gone too far. Zhang Lishuang's expression turned fierce as well. Shaoshan found it strange to see everyone's reaction. He didn't understand why they were so furious about the Prime Minister's book. Could this book somehow cause his death? Later, the Queen stood up and firmly rejected the Prime Minister's proposal. Shaoshan also stated that he saw no need to comply with the Prime Minister's request because, as a prince, the Prime Minister had no authority to question him. Did the Prime Minister want to replace the Queen? In response to this challenge, the Prime Minister solemnly swore that he had no such intention. Then, the Prime Minister sarcastically asked if the prince was afraid to accept the challenge. The Prime Minister suggested that if the prince refused, it would prove he was worthless. He also hinted that Zhang Yangming might be involved in deceiving the Queen. Hearing the Prime Minister's clever arguments, Shaoshan admired the Prime Minister's skill in twisting right and wrong. At this point, Zhang Yangming explained to Shaoshan the origin of the ancient book. It was discovered in ancient ruins on Qingyan Mountain and was inscribed with a different script. If someone couldn't understand the text in the book, he would immediately die. There were 17 previous cases of people dying because of this book. Shaoshan finally understood that the Prime Minister's intention was to kill him with this book. So, Shaoshan deliberately asked the Prime Minister why he wanted to test him with this book. The Prime Minister then questioned if Shaoshan was afraid. Shaoshan walked down from the platform. Shaoshan said he wasn't a fool, and he wouldn't casually gamble with his life. The Prime Minister's son provocatively asked Shaoshan if he was afraid, which was why he couldn't look at the book. However, Shaoshan slapped him before he could finish his sentence. Shaoshan stated that as a prince, the Prime Minister's son had no right to question him. Shaoshan also taunted the Prime Minister for failing to educate his child properly, allowing his son to act so audaciously. At this point, the Prime Minister's son, Liu Shimei, realized that he had acted impulsively, and he quickly knelt before the Queen to apologize. Shaoshan was somewhat surprised by this. He didn't expect Liu Shimei, who seemed simple, to calm down so quickly. The Prime Minister also realized that he needed a more effective excuse to make Shaoshan watch the ancient book. So, the Prime Minister used the key to the other half of the imperial treasury, left by the late emperor, as leverage. And he also offered 3 million spirit stones as a gift to celebrate the Queen's wedding. However, the Prime Minister demanded that the prince must watch the ancient book. But unexpectedly, Shaoshan insisted on the condition that the Prime Minister provide 5 million spirit stones to agree to this condition. In his desperation to kill Shaoshan, the Prime Minister emptied his entire fortune, totaling 6 million spirit stones.